morning, everyone, and welcome to the first course in late effects of childhood and adolescent cancer survivors organized by PanCare, SIOP Europe, and the Young SIOP. My name is Katrin Scheinemann. I'm a pediatric oncologist, hematologist working in Switzerland, but also the current chair of PanCare. I would also like to hand over now to the co-chair, which is Maria Ott, to introduce herself. Maria, please.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And also from my side, a really warm welcome to this first course. My name is Maria Ott, and as Katrin already said, I'm from Young SIOP. I've been a board member, and now from January onwards, I'm the chair of Young SIOP. And I'm also kind of located working in Switzerland in pediatric hematology oncology. I give back to you.
Thank you, Maria. So we're all very happy that you are all here bright and early in the morning and really motivated for this next 2 days, which we will really work together. So your active participation is needed. Let me start first with you as participants. As you can see here, we have participants from 25 countries, not only all over Europe, but also, for example, from Armenia and Australia. We have received a total of 79 applications. You were chosen by age as young investigators, but also by your interests. And as you can see here, there is a strong female predominance. So we're looking forward to, maybe that's one of the goals, also to have more male representatives in follow-up care. Looking at the faculty, we have in total 24 faculty. It's really important that it is a multi-professional faculty. So we have physicians from different disciplines. We have researchers on, we have nursing on, but also parents and very important survivors. And I think also a nice distribution and representation from different European countries, so that you are not only getting the impression from 1 or 2 countries, but a little bit like what's going on all over Europe and what we would like to achieve for our survivors. I want to start because it's really important. This course would not have happened without the help of Anne. And thank you very much. You do everything and you all had contact with her. She's also the one running the technical part. If there are any issues, please contact her. I would also like to Andisha Atarbashi, who is the SIOP board member for education, who approached us as chairs and who had the idea. And then Lars Hjort, who is a PanCare as well as SIOP board member, or has been until last year. They're responsible for survivorship and has also brought this forward. We would like to also thank the sponsors, because we need sponsors to have events like this, but also a big thank you to all of you that you really send your application in and are interested to enhance your knowledge about long-term follow-up care. A little bit to the rules. I think after 2 years of pandemic, all of you are pretty familiar with it. So please mute your microphone. And if you don't have a stable connection, turn your camera off, at least during the lectures. But please, while we're discussing something in the question and answering period, turn it on, because it's much nicer to see a face for the question. Questions can be asked either by the chat or by raising your hand. This will all be monitored by Maria. And as often as is possible, we also will let you really put your microphone on and ask the question yourself. For us, it's really important, be engaged and participate. That's not the idea that you will have now 2 days, 8 hours of lectures, but really you learn more if you actively participate, but also enjoy this and use also the breaks for further networking. We will leave it open all the time, the Zoom link, so you can really use it and meet with some other people and maybe ask some additional questions or really exchange your experiences and ideas. Why we are doing this, and I want to show you some numbers within Europe, which I still find really, really impressive. from the Golden September campaign last year, Cure More and Cure Better. Every 15 minutes in Europe, a family received the devastating news that their child has cancer. I know that's way less than in the adult world, but like it's really a big number. 6,000 children and young people are dying every year in Europe from childhood cancer. So despite all the progress we have made, there is still a huge number. Looking now at our population we're focused on, we have around 500,000 long-term survivors of childhood cancer in Europe. And thankfully, this number is like really increasing each day. In total, there are 35 new cases of childhood cancer in Europe each year. And as you know, the survival probability is over 80% now. So you can easily calculate how this then turns on. But unfortunately, we still have like 20% differences in the survival within Europe and even thinking of countries outside of Europe. So there is still like really a lot of work to do. And survival starts at day one, and also like what we can influence for a better survival and long-term follow-up starts at day one. So you also like within the active and acute treatment, we have to think of long-term follow-up. And many of you are maybe familiar, but I know I have to show this each time again. Because it's a long time ago where the whole concept of long-term follow-up care, or the idea, was created already in 1974. And if you're thinking about this, this was a time where it was the vast majority of childhood cancer patients could still not like survive their illness, besides, for example, a Wilms tumor, because it was mainly a surgical disease. But even in this early day, Giulio D'Angelo, who was a pediatric radiation therapist, said cure is not enough and put the whole thing into perspective. So he's like the godfather of this. And now many, many years later, we have seen where we are at this point. So we have now like really high survival rates, but the quality of the survival is as equal as important as having this like really high survival rates. What would you like to achieve, and what is the outline of these 2 days? On day one, we give you a little bit introduction, what has been like really achieved, how did it all start, mainly focusing on Europe, but we're also looking at all around the world. We want to give you a little bit like what tools are available really and are freely available, are developed, that you also know like where you can get them from. And it's really important that we also, all this theoretical knowledge will have like really in a practical way. So we'll see, we have like workshops on day one and day two, where you should really, what you have learned in the morning or in the lectures, should directly put in connection with real patient cases. On day two, long-term follow-up care is a team approach. So we all are team players in this. So we want to like highlight this a bit with the multidisciplinary approach. We will do a lot of time on PanCare. PanCare is a pan-European network of researchers, of physicians, of survivors, and parents to like really enhance and the care of long-term survivorship. And it's really important that we also hear their voices. So we will end with the panel discussions with parents and survivors, because they are the most important one in all of what we are doing. What hopefully will be the purpose and what we have achieved at the end of this today. It's really that it should enhance your clinical practice, so that it's really practical. And that you hopefully like really can learn something about this and take this over in all your outpatient clinic next week. It should for sure enhance your knowledge in the survivorship and long-term follow-up care. It should foster further research, and we need all of you in survivorship and long-term follow-up care. We can't make any progress without research, as it is quite obvious. You should become a team member, but not only within your hospital, but maybe also within your country, within Europe and international, because we can only get better if we do this in an international effort. We would like to help you to create your own network. that you know people within your country, within Europe, how to turn to, who has maybe a special knowledge in this or that, like long-term side effects, or is running this or that study. I think it's important to understand all the different perspectives which are needed. And I think the most important thing is listen to the survivors. They have to be on board. Everything what we are doing is for survivors and parents of their survivors. So we have to listen to them and really have to listen to their input. And maybe some of you have already been a little bit anxious seeing that we will have 2 quizzes. So the idea is more or less to look a little bit like, what do you know right now? And then hopefully what you have learned at the end of these 2 days. It will not be announced in a way like we'll not share score. It's really more for yourself. And we think a quiz, it's always nice maybe to have winners, and that winners are getting a prize. And we are thinking that the winners should get the biography of Terry Fox. And I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Terry Fox, because he's a Canadian. When he was 18 years old, he was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, and that back in the 1980s. So he underwent surgery, so an amputation, as well as some radiotherapy. And then he was thinking he should give something back, and his idea was to install the so-called Marathon of Hope. So he wanted to run across Canada, and as you all know, Canada is such a big country, so that he ran a marathon distance each day, and with this raise funds for cancer research. And his idea or goal was to raise $1 from each Canadian. At this time, the Canadian population was a little bit less than under 30 million. So on 12th of April, he started in St. John's, so in the far east. And as you can see here, all his route. And at the beginning, like, no one was really interested what he was doing. So he was just like a friend was with him, and he was running all on his own. And in the Atlantic provinces, no one was really taking care of him. And this completely changed the closer he was getting to the highly dense, populated wise provinces like Quebec. And then already, like, when he was coming to Ontario, he was a star. Thousands of people were running with him. There were like really huge crowd was like cheering at him. And so he got forward, and unfortunately in Thunder Bay, he had to stop in September because he was coughing up blood, and not unexpectedly, he had then developed lung metastases, which were not treatable at this time. So he had to stop after almost running 5,400 kilometers, which is quite something. At the end, he died a year later. Up till now, all his runs, which are now happen regularly, so in Canada each year, but also worldwide, there is a Terry Fox run. And so far, with all his, he has raised over 850 million for cancer research. And I'll now stop my screen sharing because I want to show you a quick video that you can imagine how painful it was to run for him. So Marta, please.
I'm not special. Cancer happens to people all the time. I take 1 mile at a time, 26 miles a day. I want to set an example that'll never be forgotten. Sometimes it feels endless. But the pain I feel is nothing. I've seen little kids in so much pain. Somewhere, the hurting must stop.
Terry Fox ran more than halfway across Canada to raise money for cancer research. Every year, millions of people around the world continue the marathon of hope in his name.
Thank you very much, Marta. So I hope with this you are all like really inspired to start this course. And with this, I would like to hand over to Maria for the first quiz.